Hi guys, so this is the story of how you should never give the guy who has been obsessed with you for like a year a chance. And I'll tell you why. So, me and this guy, we're gonna say his name is Josh, okay? And so, me and Josh had met last year, and he was obsessed with me the entire year. And so
Hey, bitch, what's up, bitch? Suck my dick, bitch.
But so he was obsessed with me for the longest time. And, you know, finally, October, I decide to give him a chance. Okay? So we started talking, it was all fresh and fun. And like mid-October, everything was good. And then we went to a Halloween party. We met up there, had a fun time, great time, and everything was all good. I was actually really liking him. I was like, oh, maybe I should have given him a chance from the start. All I've heard from him is like good things. Like everybody says he's such a good guy. So, I was like, why not? Like, why not? And so so like so like a couple weeks after that, you know, everything was good. We like had never argued, nothing, like it was all good. So I'm at one of my friend's house. A couple weeks after that, a couple weeks after that, I'm at my friend's house and I get a text from one of my very good friends, and they had told me, oh, I'm pretty sure this girl is at Josh's house right now. And I was like, what? And so I was very confused, and immediately I immediately started texting Josh, and I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Why is this girl at your house? Why is this girl at your house? Like, da 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 da. Like, what the fuck? Like, why? What is she doing at your house? Like, what is this girl doing at your house? And he had told me that the girl was there for his best friend, who was there. I know, in fact, he was there because they had made like TikToks together and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, but we're gonna call his friend. We're gonna call his best friend Ryan. So Josh tells me, oh no, she's just there for Ryan. Like, I'm not even like hanging out with them right now. They're in the garage. And I was like, I don't care. Like, this girl is at your house. Like, what are you talking about? And he was like, no. Like, I promise you, like, I'm outside. I'm with my little siblings. And he sent me a video of him on the trampoline, bunch of little kids. I texted him, I was like, I don't really give a shit because there's a girl at your house and you didn't tell me all this stuff. And he was like, I know, I'm so sorry, da 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 da. Like, I know I'm wrong. I should have told you she was coming over in the first place. And, so he would always post stuff on his story, and it'd be like, who want to hang out with me and Ryan? Who want to hang out with me and Ryan? So I don't know the previous times that he has posted that other females have been to his house that I didn't know of. And always on his TikToks, he was putting hashtag 2man, and I texted him about that before, and I was like, why do you keep putting 2man in your caption? Like, that's like kind of fucking weird. Like, why do you keep doing that? And he was like, oh, no, like, it's just for views. But anyways, So my good friend, the one who had told me that this girl was at Josh's house, they also tell me that there was another girl there. And we're gonna name this girl Rebecca. So, you know, Rebecca's important in this story. But so my friend tells me, "Oh, I'm pretty sure Rebecca is also at his house." And I was like, "Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck?" So I immediately start texting him. I'm like, "What the fuck? Like, Rebecca's there too?" And he was like, No, she's not here. She's not here. Like, it's just the other girl." And so I was like, "Okay, whatever. Like, I'm still, like, mad at you." So I was, like, mad at him for, like, the whole weekend. And then it was Monday. And, Ryan, what I've got told, Ryan texted the football group chat. I don't know what he said because I never seen the messages. I just got told by somebody that, oh, he was talking about that night. I had several people coming up to me being like, "Oh, I heard what happened Saturday. What's up with you and your man? Like, what's going on? Da 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 da." And I was like, "What the fuck? Like, how does everybody know about this?" And I texted Josh and I said, who all the fuck did you tell? Like, and he was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Well, I just had like 3 people come up to me and ask me about Saturday. So obviously, like, people know." And he was like, "Oh, like, nobody here at my school knows," because he goes to a different school. He was like, "Nobody at my school knows, but people at your school know." And I was like, okay. And he said, What are they saying?" And I was like, "That you were on a 2-man with the girl and another girl." They never specified what name. When people were telling me he was on a 2-man, they never said, like, the other girl's name apart from the girl I knew was actually there. And so he's like, "Oh, just tell them nothing happened," because nothing did happen. And I said, "No, what happened was there was another girl at your house and you didn't tell me." And, so I didn't text him. And then after homeroom, there's this guy who's in there. And after there, we were walking the same direction. We were going straight and then turning, walking the same direction. And he starts talking to me. And we're just talking about homeroom because we were in the same homeroom. We were talking about everything that was just happening in there, da da da. Because it was our friends, like our mutual friends that were in there too. And we were just talking about, like, what the teacher was saying and all this. Nothing weird. Nothing weird in the fucking slightest. And so during lunch, I get a text from Josh. And he was like, "Were you walking with a guy?" And I told him, I said I was. But there was nothing weird to it. We were strictly talking about homeroom. I didn't even know his name. Like, there was nothing weird to this. And the person who made a big deal out of that was Ryan. Ryan saw us. And he went back to Josh and made it a whole big deal out of something that literally was not a big deal in the first place. But anyway, so all day I kept getting told, "Oh, Josh was on a 2-man, like, he was on a 2-man, all this stuff." And people were telling me, like, "Oh, Ryan was never supposed to be there when the other girl was there. Like, it was just supposed to be him and the other girl." Obviously, I'm getting fucking upset because who wouldn't get upset? Like, just like having a fun, fresh time over here, just getting told that I'm getting cheated on. All fun, right? And so I text him and I go off on him and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I hope like none of this is true, but like if this is true, like I'm never fucking speaking to you again. Like, you're a weird piece of shit. Like, and he was like, what are you talking about? And I told him everything that everybody was telling me. He was like, bro, Gabby, like none of that stuff is true. None of that stuff is true. I was like, well, what do you want? How do you expect me to believe you when I have several people coming up to me and telling me the same exact story? So obviously, if I'm getting told the exact same story from many other people, I'm gonna believe them, you know what I'm saying? And so he's like, oh, like, well, I didn't do anything, like, that's not true, but you can believe whatever you want, like, I give up, like, you can believe whatever you want. And so, still mad at him and stuff, but so then I you know, I was like still a little bit off, like on guard, but like we were fine. Like everything was fine. We weren't arguing. He had went. So no. So during that day too, there was a party the next day. And he had told me the day before, because I had asked him, I said, are you going to this party? And he had told me no. He said, no, I'm going to my mom's. So I was like, okay. I was like, well, I wasn't going to go either. Like, I couldn't go either way. So, you know, I was just seeing if you were going to go or not. Because, like, I know the girl that was at his house that I knew of was going to be at this party. So I was like, And so he texted me the day that Ryan made that whole big deal out of nothing. And at first, I texted him and I was like, just texted him about something that was going on, just to see if how he would respond to me, because he was acting kind of weird, but like nothing was like arguing yet. And he completely ignores it and texts back and says, I'm gonna go to the party. I was like, okay. So, and then after that, that's when we started arguing and all this stuff. And so, come the next day, actually, I think I had just got all those dates wrong. I just know the party was on a Friday. And maybe I was, actually, I don't know. But I just know all that happened in the same week. And yeah, so it was a Monday when he said all that, and the party was Friday, because we had FaceTime during that week, you know, everything was fine. And so come Friday, he goes to the party, right? So my good friend, the one who had texted me all that stuff before, they had told me, oh, are you and Josh still good? And I was like, yeah, I think so. Why? And they were like, oh, did he talk to you about Rebecca and the other girl? And I was like, wait, so Rebecca actually was at his house? And they were like, yeah, like, and so I immediately start freaking out. I'm like, what the fuck? And so I started texting my friend. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what all do you know? Like, what? He's not telling me anything. Like, what do you know? Tell me. And they were like, no, like, I don't know. Like, I don't want my name getting involved in any of this. And I told them, I was like, no. Like, your name is not going to get involved in any of this. Like, your name is not going to get involved in any of this. Like, I promise. And then they told me, that it was Josh and Ryan, and they had went on a 2-man with Rebecca and the other girl. And that Josh had fucked Rebecca. Are we joking? So, obviously, I'm pissed the fuck off to the max. And I call Josh. He's at this party. I said, I don't give a fuck where you are right now. Go to a different room. I need to talk to you. And he was like, what's wrong? And I said, what the fuck? I'm getting told that you fucked Rebecca. And you're lying to me about it. And he was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And so, you know, so we were just like arguing. Like, I was just like going off on him. He was like, what? Like, why are you believing all this? Like, I told you this is not true. It's not true. It's not true. Da da da. So I hung up on him. And I told my friend, like, what I was saying on the phone and all this stuff. And they responded back and they were like, oh, well, Ryan was the one who told me all of that. Ryan? His best friend, the one who was already... So, yeah, I'm pissed off to the max. And so, Josh is still texting me. And he's like, Gabby, I'm so sorry. And, so, like, all this stuff. But there was something between... There was, like, a little altercation, like, nothing so serious between me and the other girl. And so, me and her were texting, and I was rereading the text between me and the girl to my stepsister, filling her in on everything. You know, she had came up for the weekend, you know, just telling her everything. And then when I'm rereading the text, because she was saying her side of what happened that night, like the 2-man stuff. And I know she was lying, because Josh had already said that no, she was there for Ryan, like her and Ryan are in the garage right now, like. And so what she had said in the text is that her friend, which was Rebecca, was there hanging out with Josh, and that she went over there to say hi to them, and that her and Rebecca went back to her grandma's house and they stayed the night there. So Rebecca and the other girl had posted TikToks, so we know they were together that night. She never said Rebecca's name in the text, but it was heavily. My storage ran out. But, so, it was heavily implied in the text messages that Rebecca was there. And I told Josh that. While we were on the phone, I was telling him, I was like, well, the other girl told me that Rebecca was at your house. Like, she said it in her text messages. And he said, his whole attitude changed. He said, wait, she told you that? And I was like, yeah, she fucking told me that. And, you know, so my friend, the one who told me everything, they were trying to comfort me and stuff, but I was just so mad. I was so pissed off. Like, I was just... And then, you know, I decided to end things with him. I was like, I can't put up with this. Like, what the fuck? Like, he lied to me. He fucked another girl, and he's still lying to me about it. Like, he can't fucking admit it. And so, that same night, one of my best friends, we're gonna name her, Marie. So, Marie, I text this group chat I have, me and some, like, 2 of my friends, and Marie posted on her story, and it was like, if their name is this, they're dirty, they're lying, cheating whores. And she put Rebecca's name and the other girl's name. And so they both text her about it. And, oh, also not to mention the fact that after I had ended things with Josh, he was hanging out with Rebecca at the fucking party they were at. So that just makes things so much worse. And, so Marie posts that on her story, and they see it, and Rebecca texts Marie and says, "Were you talking about me?" and sent the screenshot. And Marie texted back, and she was like, not talking about you, just stating my opinion. I know everything that you did with Josh, and you really hurt my best friend's feelings, and I just don't like the way you move and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so she just said all that. And she was like, I've never talked about you before. Just want to state that, like, just don't like how you are. Just don't like what you did. And Rebecca texts back, and she's like, so after Marie had said all that, Rebecca texted back, and she's like, what? Like, Marie had said in the text too, like, and we know you're, like, you were hanging out with Josh at the party, like, you're weird, you're disgusting. And Rebecca texted back, she's like, I never went to the party with him and stuff like that. And she said, and I had asked Josh before we did anything about Gabby, and he had told me that they were not talking and that he would never date her because she goes to a different school. The girl he fucked, the girl he cheated on me with, was at the same school as me. So that was not an issue. That was not an issue at all. But for me it was. For me it was the issue. But, because it just makes fucking sense, And so Marie texts, and she's like, well, you didn't go to the party with him, but you hung out with him, like, I know you did. And then Rebecca says, please tell Gabby that I'm very sorry, and that I never would have done anything with him if I would have known the truth. So obviously Marie sent me the screenshots and everything and like that. And I'm grateful that Rebecca had came and said what he was saying, like, she didn't lie about it and stuff like that. And I think her and the other girl were arguing started arguing after, because Marie said in the text that she mentioned what the girl had texted me. She was like, well, the other girl was saying that you were the one who was hanging out with Josh, and that she just went over to say hi, and she's blaming it all on you. And Rebecca was like, wait, what? She's going around telling people that? So I don't know if they were arguing after that or not. I'm not too sure. But, and so I was crying that night, crying out of, like, frustration, just so mad. And usually when I'm mad, I just like to sleep. But I was hanging out with my stepsister, so we went out and we went and got, like, slushies and ice cream and stuff like that. We just walked around Walmart, just listening to music in the car, trying to be in a better mood. And so after I had found out all that, like, what he was saying, after I had found out everything that he was saying about me and all this stuff, I went ahead and I blocked him on everything. I blocked his number, I blocked him on Snap, I unfollowed him on TikTok, I unfollowed him on Instagram, every social media platform I had him on, he was gone. And then, you know, he texted me days later and was like, he said he texted me on TikTok. Even though I don't have him followed, I guess you could still text through because we had already had text, so I guess it like assumed it was like, you know, a saved text, you know. And he said, Gabby, did you block me on Snap? And I said, yeah. He said, why? And I told him that I re-explained everything. I was like, well, you fucked the girl, da 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 da, you lied to me, all this stuff. Like, I'll put like a screenshot like right there, you know. And so he decides to respond back with is what? What?
Excuse me, bitch.
I blocked him on TikTok. I was genuinely like, cause like, what a stupid fucking response. What a stupid fucking response. So, yeah. So, he's blocked on TikTok now, too. And so, I just want to preface, like, end this story by just saying that I am, like, completely no longer in contact with him. Nothing. I will never speak to him again. And I made that clear. And I just want to let you guys know that it doesn't matter who the guy is, they're still going to be a piece of shit and they're still going to cheat on you. So, you know, just prefacing, like what the fuck? Like, just saying everything out there, you know. I don't want to see any girls hurt because a useless guy cheated on them. It's just stupid. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great day.